I'm Janet Wolfe in Nashville, Tennessee, part of the National Council of Elders, and it is my pleasure, gift today to be able to connect with you, Rahim Buford, my friend, co-conspirator, favorite animator, facilitator, organizer, poet, gifted human being. I am grateful for who and how you are. This is a focus on what does revolutionary love look like, and I see it consistently in and through your life. So help us see that part of the journey.
I'm Rahim Buford. I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee, native born. I found myself arrested at a very young age. I think the very first time I encountered the police, I was like 8 years old. And I think
Wow.
arrest, or at least in being detained, was like 11.
Mm.
By the time I'm 16, I found myself headed towards juvenile detention center. 9 months later, getting out of juvenile detention center, I was charged with first-degree felony murder. I was arrested at 18, and at 19, I got a life and 20-year sentence. And for 26 years of my life, I was caged at 7 different prisons all throughout the state of Tennessee. But fast forward to Turney Center Industrial Prison and Farm, which was my third prison. I was there for almost a little over 10 years where everything happened. I saw people die. People were murdered in prison. And I understood how valueless caged bodies were. And even though, a lot of Black people, white people were there too, and they didn't get any better treatment than us in terms of being caged. I think that once you were labeled infamous and you become what they call felons, which we don't use that language, it changes everything.
That's a long journey, and there's a lot of death and a lot of violence along this journey. So how is it then that you invest in, believe in love? I mean, why not give up? Why not just mimic the violence that's around you? Why not get caught in despair?
Often volunteers would come into the prison, and they showed a genuineness about our humanity. It's like we mattered to them. And that, for me, helped turn on things. That community, that beloved community, is what, for me, turned on different channels within myself and my soul, helping me to see that, or really just awakening within myself what I saw in other people. That love, what I felt, is kind of like what influenced me to be like, okay, I like the way this feels. I want to keep this up in my life. I want to do this myself. In a way, you could say I was mirroring, but the reality is I felt things come alive inside that prior to being at River Bend never happened for me. And so I wanted to be a better version of myself, just encountering people who cared about me who were once strangers.
So I remember Jim Lawson, Reverend James Lawson came in, Will Campbell came in. I mean, folks came in who had been part of the nonviolent struggle, who had argued that the world we have is not the world we have to have, that the change is possible, and that it's possible when we awaken the love and life that's in all of us. And it seems to me in so many ways that's what you do. Emily Towns, womanist theologian, talks about listening people into life. You listen people into life. You recreate that circle that invites people to be themselves and to trust that there is love and life in them with the power to make change collectively, communally, to become what you call the beloved community. Talk more about your work.
Once I was released from prison, I knew that I was not only a symbol of hope, but if I was able to get out and continue to do this work and reach back, which is what Bridges to Freedom is all about, which is the model of Unheard Voices outreach, that could be transformative in and of itself. It just, all of that combined, I think, crystallized into me knowing and believing, and with love, doing this work. Because without love, I couldn't do this work. To do this work, to do it in love, I don't see any other way that I could show up in life that would give me fulfillment. I look at my work as that kind of work, uncaging people, helping their family members to understand the criminal legal system, organizing, helping people to use the right language to communicate with empire, with system folks, with state actors. It's love that pushes me. It's the community that pushes me. It's the satisfaction that I see in the eyes of people, not just the walking out of cages, but their family members who love and show their appreciation for it. And really, all I'm doing is just being myself.
Well, and part of what I see you doing is creating opportunities for healing, both communal healing and individual healing. Talk for a minute about your work around transformative restorative justice.
Restorative justice, as I learned from you, certain things can't be restored. A woman rape can't be restored. You can't restore a body that has been taken, a life that has been taken, but you can transform that. That's a different mindset that happens internally. And that is what this work requires of us to show, to demonstrate that we can not only see what's happening within our communities, but we can become not police, but healers within our community. Now, we actually offer therapy, even with Unheard Voices Outreach, with some of our community members who have gotten out of prison, because a lot of people leave prison with far more trauma than they had going in, because an artificial, violent environment really just reinforces harm. And so we look towards this idea to bring about change, and that comes through healing.
Dr. King said that justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. And it seems to me that in so many ways, the work that you're doing is doing that. So if people are listening to this, how do we invite them to practice revolutionary love, to practice this kind of justice that corrects everything that stands against love, to believe that love has the power to create the world we want?
Yeah, that's a tough one too. And to be able to stand often in faith and to make love a real experience, you have to have activity, actions. It's not words. It's showing up and holding hands with someone, standing with a community, standing outside of a parole board office and demanding that someone be released who has been in prison for 20, 25 years. You know, it looks like going to do court watching, the UVO watchers in the courtrooms, where we face this cold, dark environment of people who are exercising power in our lives, but don't see us as human beings.
And how can people find out more?
So 2 ways. The first way, I would say, I would want people who love someone in prison. Could be a family, could be a friend. It could just be someone that you know from the community, somebody you started pen paling. You can go to www.bridgestofreedom.org, sign up. And what this is really about is, like, we want to be in contact with somebody from every county across the state of Tennessee. If they're not in Tennessee, we welcome anyone because we're connected to people way beyond Tennessee. But for those who have a loved one that is in prison and is trying to get out of prison, I would say contact www.unheardvoicesoutreach.org.
Any last words you'd like to offer? It's
important for people, and you made this clear to us, even for every project that we completed in prison and college, that we want to concretize, make it real, make it a physical thing. And that's what I try to do in my faith, is to demonstrate it where people can actually see it. If I never could speak a word, that you would know what I believe by what I did in my life. Yeah. Right. The last thing that I would say is that never give up on humanity. Never give up on people. Never allow the pain to make you a different person. If that were true, 4 years after I was convicted, I never would have been able to get out of prison. And that's what one of the biggest things we're fighting for today, is to change the 51-year life sentences to 25, so everyone could get the same opportunity as myself, is to represent their humanity.